All right. Welcome back to Who's Even Listening. This will be episode number 14. We're going to do a little solo podcast here today. And if you hear some clicks going around, we're actually doing a photo shoot, so we're going to be obvious about that. If you hear something going on, that's what we got going on. But just really want to dive into this. Recently, I've had a kind of a battle. I used to always have issues with the UPS truck. Obviously, we all got issues. We get mad at sometimes. We can't calm ourselves down. And we just get boiled up. You know, we have a lot of things we just can't, for whatever reason, flip the switch off in that moment. Everything's just hard for us to relate to. And we just get boiled up. And I found a way recently to kind of cope with that a lot better than I used to. So I wanted to kind of share that with people and see what people's thoughts are on that. Because obviously, I think this relates to, obviously, you never have to be driving a UPS truck to get this. But anybody that has any job or any responsibility, just in any aspect, you know, I always treat it like this. And I always bring this up about having to treat something like a game. You've got to find a way to make it fun, and no matter, even if it's not. That's the whole game of it. You have to find a way to trick your mind to where you don't believe you're actually working. Like you're literally just doing something you want to do. Like I always tell everybody, you have to want to do it and you have to need to do it. You got to have both. Because if you just need to do it, you're not going to be fully invested. We're going to be constantly worried about, you know, what else can I be doing in this moment? Like I said, it all goes in the moment, and we're all struggling with that. I have a huge issue of thinking about the future or the past 24/7. We all do. It's so difficult. One of the hardest tasks for humanity is to literally think of nothing and to think in the moment, to act in the moment. And for all of us, that is difficult, and we all try to do that as much as we can, but it's not easy. It's not. And it's an everlasting journey that we have to put ourselves on and know that it's just a journey. It's never going to be perfect. That's what I think we all get upset with, is that we think we can get to this point that everything's just going to be okay. Everything's just going to fix itself. That we're going to get to this point in our life, whether you have enough money, whether it's enough, whatever the case that you want to have in your life, you're not content until you reach that. And then once you do reach that, you're still not content. And that's the one part that I think we fail to realize. But along with that, like I said, the mindset and making things a game is what I've tried to do. And I've always viewed my UPS as stop counts. And I've always viewed it as basically like, that truck will not beat me. Say I get 200 stops in my board when I go to work. To me, I have to, in my head, map by 11 o'clock, I have to have this much off if I want to be off by 5 o'clock. And you got to find ways to do that. And it may sound stupid, but for me, that's what works. But you have to find something that works in your head that can make you accept your circumstances for no matter what they are, but still be content and complacent with those. And that's extremely difficult. But to me, that's the master of the mind. And if you can get to that point to not manipulate your mind per se, because that term to me is kind of used in bad ways, but to train your mind to think constantly about now, about what I'm doing this second, and what can I do to use all of my energy, all of my effort into impacting this situation right now. Because I cannot control the past, I cannot control the future, but I can control where I'm at right now. And I always say sometimes when I get heated in there, all you can worry about is the next stop. You got one next stop. That's for me. That's what my job is. Everybody has a different job. But for me, you just keep going. You have to. You got to find a way to keep pushing yourself, keep motivating ourselves. And if we don't, you know, we're just going to be stuck and we're never going to grow. And we have to find ways to, whether it's even a humor method as well. You can also go with a joking method sometimes, you know. You got to find a way to maybe put a spin on it that's a humorous method. Find a joke in a situation. There's times where I go up to a door and I know somebody's looking at me. I'm trying to find a signature form and I know they're looking right at me. They don't come up. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm cheating this up. You know, you gotta find a way to, whether it's stupid or not, to get your mind to accept that it can always be worse. That's really the other part of it too. That we all get so in that victim mentality that, you know, the world's against us, that everything's just fighting against us, and we all feel that way. That's not, we're not alone. You know, we all have tendencies in our lives where we feel at a certain point where we get to that no one understands us, that we're just preaching to nothing, that there's just nothing out there. And we have to learn to, in those hard times, in those moments that we get to these points of no return, and we feel that we want to give up in a sense, or we want to just let it go. We have to find ways to be okay with ourselves. We have to find ways to be okay with these situations that may not be so good in the moment. Make it be good. Find a way to put a spin on it. You have to. We have to, or life's going to be miserable. And that's what I try to tell people. If we don't put a spin on it, life is going to be negative. Life is going to just be what it is. There's going to be nothing we can do to fix that. And that's a scary thought. That's a very scary thought for all of us. No one wants eternal emptiness for anyone, but we have to learn to be better people. We have to learn to be smarter and adapt different habits that give us a more ability to reach people and more ability to mentally master our own minds. And that's something that I do feel that's we're all capable of. I think we all sometimes shortchange ourselves, and our mind is capable of extreme amounts of things. We are all extremely, extremely intelligent if we want to be. Our mind, we talk about all the time. You hear all these studies that are out, and there's many of them that we only use, depending on the person, about 10 to 15 to 20% of our brain on our average lifespan. And it's pretty crazy when you think about that, for how much untapped things we could tap into in our brain. And there's so much more we can do. There's so much more capabilities that we have. And if we can just get to that mental, really, it's the peakness. You have to be mentally tough in every aspect of your life. That should be all of our goals, no matter whether you're male, female, it doesn't matter. Just to be mentally at our peak. We should all want us all to be the strongest person, whether it's physically, mentally, at all of it. We should all want to be the most best version of us and push others to want to do that as well. But it comes down to those moments that, like I said, it all is easy when stuff goes easy. When everything's going our way, it's easy to be a nice person. But it's in those hardships, it's in those times that you don't feel you can even stand up, that you still move on and you still find a way to laugh. You still find a way to spread love, and you still spread a way to spread a message of kindness and forgiveness. And those are the times that your character is built. And I always tell this to everyone. I judge people off their character. Not what you do, not what your lifestyle is, not what your financial status is, your social status. I could give two craps about that. I judge it off your character and who you are as a person. And we all can be better people. We all can have better morals. And our character should mean something. And even in those dark times when we let our character slip at moments, and we all do. Like I said, it's going to happen. We're not perfect. And we can't expect ourselves to be perfect. So we got to have our expectations realistic as well. But all we can do is do our best and make sure that you're being honest with yourself. What is truly your best? And are you actually doing your best? Because I think a lot of us aren't honest with ourselves about truly getting in the effort that we're supposed to be putting in. We think and we've convinced ourselves that we have done enough, but sometimes there's a lot more you can do, and there's always more you can be doing. That's what I always say. No matter how much you've done, you can still do more. There's always, always more. That's the beauty of this life. No matter how much music you've made, no matter how much money you've made, there's always more to be done. And there's always more people to help. This world is our oyster, and we sometimes make it so negative, and we trap ourselves into this bubble when it can be so much bigger. We can all want to make this world better for all of us. And our selfish tendencies tend to get in our way, and they tend to diminish us, diminish our society, and make us, in my opinion, not who we are. And it takes away from, I think a lot of people have gotten to a point where no one even wants to be themselves. It's like we're all stuck in kind of like a puppet, like we're just having somebody talk for us because we're not portraying who we actually are inside. And that's scary, man. And that's really scary to me. And we need to make sure we're creating a better world, a genuine world, and open and honest, and making sure that we're doing our part in our lives. And like I said, even in those hardships, that's what I'm trying to bring up. Because like I said, it's easy to talk about this and easy to do this and implement this in your life if everything's going great. But if it's not, and everything's hitting the fan, you're just in constant turmoil, constant negative energy, that's when you have to rise above it. And that's when it actually matters. Anybody can do it when it's easy. Now, the question is, can you do it every second, even when stuff's stacked against you? And you got to find ways to, when that does get to that point, and be aware of that, be conscious of that, accept it, realize it's there, but try to combat it in a different way. You have to find a way to trick your mind to make it, like I said, acceptable in your own head. And until you get to that point, everything's going to seem like a huge, daunting task. And it always will, until you can find a way to use your mind to craft it and train it to think differently. And that's really what I want people to do. Like I said, I can't give you the answers. Each person, each individual is different. Everybody has a different tick in their brain. Everybody's got a different code that's ready. We all got a different brain. But I can only tell you what works for me. And hopefully, like I said, that's all we can do is use that. And hopefully that will, transfer on and on and on to other people. And like I said, let's be the light in the world. let's try to spread peace. Let's try to treat everyone correctly, and let's make others want to do that as well. And that's all we can do is lead by example. And as I always say, spread peace, spread love, ELE, everybody love everybody, and let's try to make this world a little better place for all of us to want to be in and exist in. And that's all we truly can do. And as I always say, have a good night, good morning, good lunch, good breakfast. Make sure you go to West Side. And as always, just take care of yourself, and hopefully to take care of the people around you, and the rest will take care of itself. And as always, this is Who's Even Listening, signing off.